I know exactly what you've been told your whole life. You've been told you're just insecure. You've been told to be more confident. You've been told, you're not ugly, it's all in your head. And yet, every time you see your reflection, something feels wrong. Every photo looks different from how you feel you look. Compliments bounce off you like they were meant for someone else. So you start wondering, why do I feel ugly even when people say I'm not? Today, I'm here to tell you something important. The explanation you've been given is incomplete, and it's not your fault. There is nothing objectively wrong with your face. There is nothing broken about your body. What you're experiencing isn't ugliness. It's perception distortion, and psychology has a name for it. To understand this, we have to look at how your brain sees you. Because this isn't vanity, and it isn't attention-seeking. It's neuroscience. Your brain does not process your appearance the same way it processes other people's. Think of the brain like a mirror. Most people look at themselves and see a relatively stable image. Not perfect, but consistent. But your mirror is unstable. Psychologists call this negative self-schema. It means your brain has built an internal story about you, and every reflection is filtered through that story. You're not seeing your face. You're seeing your beliefs. And those beliefs didn't come from nowhere. They were built slowly. A comment here. A joke there. A comparison you never forgot. Your brain learned to scan your appearance for flaws, the same way anxious minds scan rooms for danger. Which brings us to the first reason you feel ugly even when you aren't. Your attention system is biased against you. Neuroscience shows that once the brain labels something as a problem, it allocates more resources to detecting it. So if you once believed your nose was wrong, your brain zooms in on it every time. If you thought your skin wasn't good enough, your eyes go straight there in the mirror. Other people see a whole face. You see a highlighted error list. That's not honesty. That's selective attention. Second, your emotional memory is interfering with visual perception. Your brain doesn't just remember images. It remembers how you felt when you saw them. So if you felt rejected, embarrassed, or invisible during key moments of your life, those emotions get replayed every time you see yourself. You're not reacting to your appearance today. You're reacting to old pain stored in your nervous system. That's why some days you look fine, and other days you feel unbearable. Nothing changed in your face. Something changed in your emotional state. Third, and this is the most important part, people who feel ugly often have high self-awareness. Your brain is constantly monitoring how you're perceived. Your posture. Your expressions. Your presence. Psychologists call this self-focused attention. It doesn't make you shallow. It makes you hyper-aware. You don't just exist in your body. You observe yourself existing in it. And the more you observe yourself, the harder it becomes to feel natural. That's why mirrors feel hostile. That's why cameras feel cruel. They freeze you in a moment where you're already overanalyzing. You are not seeing yourself as others do. You are seeing yourself under a microscope. Now here's the question everyone asks. If feeling ugly is so painful, why didn't evolution remove this trait? Here's the truth. People who are deeply self-aware tend to be more socially intelligent, more empathetic, and more reflective. In ancient groups, they were the ones who noticed subtle shifts in social dynamics. They sensed rejection early. They adapted. The cost of that adaptation today is self-criticism. But the benefit is emotional intelligence. The problem is that modern culture hijacks this trait. Social media turns mirrors into comparisons. Algorithms reward unrealistic faces. And your brain, already sensitive to perception, absorbs it all. So you start measuring yourself against an impossible standard, and losing a game that was never fair. Over time, this creates appearance-based shame. Not because you are ugly, but because you learn to associate being seen with being judged. That's why compliments feel suspicious. That's why you downplay your looks. That's why you hide in group photos or post less than others. Not because you lack confidence, but because being visible feels unsafe. Now listen carefully. Feeling ugly does not mean you are ugly. It means your brain has associated your appearance with threat. And the brain does one thing very well with threats. It exaggerates them. This is why therapy for body image doesn't start with mirrors. It starts with nervous system regulation. Because when your system calms down, your perception becomes more accurate. You don't need to love how you look overnight. That's unrealistic. What you need is neutrality. To see your face as information, not evidence. To let your reflection exist without interrogation. And here's the part no one tells you. People who feel ugly often withdraw quietly. They watch more than they participate. They stay silent online. They disappear from the spotlight. To the world, they look shy. But psychology suggests something else. That silence can be self-protection. A way to control exposure in a world that feels too visually loud. If that's you, if you feel unseen but also afraid of being seen, there's nothing wrong with you. Your mind learned a strategy to survive. The question is whether that strategy still serves you. Because when perception heals, presence follows. You were never ugly. You were overstimulated, overaware, and underprotected. And in a culture obsessed with surfaces, your depth made you doubt your reflection.